welcome to Absolutely. I'm Sal, and I'm joined today, of course, by the panel of incredible people. Here we got Hassan, Dan, and Andy. We're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, the summer blockbuster event that we've been waiting for since whatever the first Marvel movie was after Endgame that disappointed us, because now we're excited again. Woo! MCU's back, baby. Until the next failure.
So back. We are so back.
We're back. Are we back?
I think we're back.
Thanks to Marvel Jesus, we are back.
Marvel Jesus
has risen, and we have finally gotten a movie that we are all excited. We all got to excitedly yell and clap our hands at the screen. Deadpool and Wolverine is here. And
shockingly, my theater was relatively quiet when it came to the shouting and the clapping. There was a couple of moments, but yeah, relatively speaking.
When did you see it, Andy?
So I saw it. It was like 2:00 on a Sunday, which is probably why it was quiet.
That actually makes
it was full. It was full. Yeah, it was full. So
it's so funny. It's like, my theater was a bit mellow, and it's like the sleepiest day.
Honestly, that's one of the reasons I don't go to like Friday night screenings, is because of all the screaming and the clapping and stuff. I like a quiet movie theater myself.
I do. I want it to be as close to a home experience as humanly possible.
Yeah, but with popcorn.
I will say I did see it on a Friday morning at 10 a.m. at San Diego, not at Comic-Con, but like 15 minutes away at the AMC next to Comic-Con, and the theater was full and excited, but not rowdy.
Okay.
And so I was
anyone dressed up, since Comic-Con was right there?
Yeah, surprisingly enough, no. Not a lot of people in costumes. Most people wear Marvel shirts, but big costumes. No,
I would have expected, like, because Comic-Con's right there, it's like we're going to see the movie and then go right to the con.
You'd think,
you just go in dressed up. Yeah.
It's at like a little like outside mall kind of thing. So I don't know. You'd have to drive. So I feel like somebody's like, no, we're going to hit Deadpool. We're going to go to the hotel, change, and then we'll go
and then go to the con.
I saw it in my small town in Birmingham, Alabama, Thursday morning, actually. So I got to see it a whole day early. And there were 2 people dressed up as Deadpool, nowhere near Comic-Con, thousands of miles away from it.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I had 2. This one of them was like a crappy like Party City costume. The other one was like a true to screen last Deadpool movie costume.
That's pretty good.
The guy was silent, that's how I prefer my Deadpools in real life.
Yes.
In real life.
I want them to be like
in real life, yes.
Yeah, really.
Where they act, but they don't say anything.
Physical movement, like a physical comedian, like a Mickey Mouse, like the Mickey Mouse mascots at the park.
Like Chaplin.
Yeah.
Dan, what about you? When did you see it?
I saw it the Thursday night. So luckily, I thought it wasn't going to be out on Thursday when I was my girlfriend told me. She was like, "Yeah, we're going to see it Thursday." I'm like, "It's out on Friday. What are you talking about?" Like,
but they
apparently everywhere now
they do say that, but it always is on Thursday.
It is, and it used to be like it would be Thursday, like midnight showing.
Yeah,
like, okay, cool. But yeah, now it's just straight up. Nope, full
day
like before.
Thursday during the day.
I caught a 3 p.m. IMAX 3D matinee. The day before the movie came out. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
They gave that up long ago. The midnight. Well, before they were like, "Oh, well, the midnight it sells out too quickly. So how about the 11:30 and then the 10 and then the like 12 p.m. in the afternoon?"
But they still say but it comes out Friday.
Yeah, but it comes out on Friday.
No, you have a full day of showings on Thursday. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, so they could juice the numbers. They can be like,
it's true.
It officially released on Friday, and its opening weekend was $250 million.
Yeah,
makes sense. This opening weekend was $400 million.
Oh,
it's correct. I think. I think we're sending
good
studios
amount of
the wrong message.
I
made a ton of money.
Who'd have thought that a beloved franchise with only
Hugh
the promise of returning a beloved character would have and also several years of diminishing returns would have resulted in this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. How'd you guys like it? I know, right? I love Moon Knight.
Yeah.
No.
I
still like Moon Knight.
So I'll start by saying I absolutely loved this, and I loved the fact that so many of those cameos were kept under wrap.
Dude,
that was quite
good.
Of none of them, and I'm sure that's probably why this second weekend is going to give them such a high boost, is because there are so many people going, "Wait, sorry, who's in it? What?" Because especially right now, TikTok's got the intro dance going across everywhere, which fantastic, best opening to a Marvel movie I've seen. But those cameos in this movie were probably, I mean, that's kind of what the movie was. It was It was cameo pool, the
That was a
movie.
concern. That was a concern about this movie, was that it was just going to be references and cameos. I think that Hassan, you got into it a little bit on your own stuff, where you talked about how it's about something. It's not just a movie that is just okay. It's cameo pool, and that's the show. It's going to be like these two characters and then extended cameos throughout. You know, like kind of like Deadpool 2 was, where it was X-Force, like it was a quiet X-Force pilot. And then they went, nobody wants that.
I love that, because they reference it in this movie where he's like, to be honest, they just didn't test well.
Yeah,
like potentially there's way more X-Force footage sitting in the defunct Fox vault within Disney's catacombs, but we'll never see that stuff because it tested poorly. The only thing that tested well was Peter, who we've leaned heavily into in this film.
Yeah, we did.
I definitely, this was a love letter to Fox. So if you liked anything that Fox ever did or have nostalgia for it, this movie's for you. And the thing is, there's like a distinction between the cameo and the unannounced actor. I think a lot of them were unannounced actors. Like Chris Evans, it's not a cameo. It's not like a pop into the background.
Right.
My man has
just waving.
Yeah, he has multiple scenes, through lines throughout. And then obviously, like, we had Elektra, X-23, and Blade for some reason, and Gambit, and those are unannounced actors. They play a part in like a whole act in it. They're on screen about as much as Paradox is on screen, honestly. Like, he's not and that's the main villain. And it's like, God, it was just fun. I've seen it twice now, so I've gotten to like have the initial like, oh, this is fantastic. Am I gonna enjoy it a second time? And yeah, dude, I never watched Deadpool 2 again.
It was awful.
It was the worst second. No, Deadpool 2 was a movie that I walked out of, and I was like, I don't need that.
I will say, to me, the cameos, like you said, they're not really cameos. They felt more in line with like the extra Spider-Man in Far From Home, or Far From Home, the last one.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Thank you. Whereas like Multiverse of Madness, the Illuminati was more cameos.
Yeah. Well, and that really felt like this did there. I mean, it could have easily been a Multiverse of Madness, and it really kind of was, in as much as, is there a scene where you could remove it completely and it really doesn't add much to the movie? Yes. Is there a sequence where the main character walks into a room and a bunch of cameos of fun actors walk into frame, have an interaction, and
with
then
dramatic music?
Right. With dramatic music.
Yeah. We literally did that in Multiverse of Madness. We do it here.
Yeah.
I remember people were excited about the implications of Multiverse of Madness, but people were just more satisfied with what we saw in this one. I think it's because A, they were utilized afterwards as opposed to being turned into sock monkeys by Wanda in the last one. And also B, either they were beloved, Blade, or they were given a chance to redeem themselves, Elektra, or exist, Gambit.
I think, just real quick, my favorite thing of when they're talking about where they came from, and Gambit's just like, it feels like I've been here forever.
I think I was born here.
It's like, it's true, because he didn't have a movie.
He never got it. That is like, because Gambit's casting was announced how many times over this 10-year period?
I think it was
supposed to be in Origins, and then he couldn't.
I was going to say, I think it was technically either right before or after Origins, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he was cast in Origins, couldn't make that, so they recast him.
Right.
Then again, later, when Ryan Reynolds took the helm as Deadpool, they announced him again having a solo project.
Right. I remember that one, yeah.
And that was in production hell, and then Disney bought Fox, and then it was in production hell still, and then it was over, and there was no chance he was coming back, and then Ryan Reynolds called him up and was like, hey, I have an idea. And he played it. I love that. Channing Tatum like loves that character so much. Like, he really wanted to be him for so long, and he's still okay with playing like, in general, like Gambit's hard to understand. Like, we watch X-Men '97. It is absurd. He plays that up. And like makes it a bit. And I love that he was like, yeah, sure, I will come. I get to play my favorite character, and I will absolutely be a goofball doing it, and I won't complain about this.
Well, and he also does cool things. Like, I remember somebody asking me after we'd seen it, and what really was crappy was, I saw it Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, Gambit was trending on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like, it was the top one. People were like, well, I guess that means Gambit's in the movie. And I remember somebody asking me, is he did they Multiverse of Madness him? And I'm like, well, I mean, in a respect, I mean, like, but it's also one of the best Deadpool zingers where he's like, "Who's your dialect coach?" The Minions. Such a good delivery, such a great joke, but also he is awesome in it. Like
he does Gambit stuff.
He does Gambit stuff.
He does the card tricks.
He does the staff. He jumps around.
Yes,
and he gets to do them R-rated. So it's not just like, he throws the cards and it explodes on their chest and they're like, oh, this is like they blow up and their brains blow everywhere.
I think he used the staff to like cut through somebody's leg so they fell over. I'm like, oh, that was so good. My thing with Gambit was, I think Channing Tatum did a great job for this Gambit. Like, it was funny. It was very much in line with like the 97 cartoon.
Yes.
Or, you know, and in the early 90s comics. Would I want to see that as a full movie?
No.
But for what he did in this movie, it was great.
Yeah. And he might show back up. Who knows?
Who knows?
Like, based on what this movie was treated like, I mean, and how it was I genuinely believe that there were decisions made like after they were done shooting the movie, but while they were testing it, where they went, "Oh yeah, no, oh that's going in Secret Wars, we're doing that, you know."
Yeah,
and I think Gambit might be one of them.
I could see that.
100%. Gambit was fantastic. You're right. I don't think we'll ever see rated R Gambit again. I don't think we'll ever get to
in Secret Wars. It'll definitely be toned down.
Yeah, but Secret Wars is I mean, in a lot of the Deadpool promo, they have jokes where it's him and Wolverine, and he's like, "Can you believe they're putting that in Secret Wars?" And it's like, okay. So I think we're gonna get just this movie, and then following announcements pretty much show us that we're going to get everything, hopefully, in Secret Wars. It's going to be a cameo fest, hopefully a very heavy unannounced actor fest, and it'll. Everybody you want will be there. If they're gonna pull out Elektra and Blade, which I don't know a single person that's like, dude, somebody let Wesley Snipes into Deadpool 3, please. Like, can you imagine?
To be honest, the Wesley Snipes was the most surprising for me.
Yeah,
just because I you know, for years you've heard about how him and Ryan Reynolds did not get along. You hear the horror stories about Blade Trinity.
You know, it's completely fake, by the way. They love each other. He came out in an interview and he's like, "Yeah, that's been a joke we've been running with."
I saw that interview, but of course he's gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the actor's not gonna be like, "I really."
You never know. Yeah,
Dan the optimist, Andy the pessimist. By the way, and he's like, "I think they hated each other's guts on set." Dan's like, "Well, I think they were friends, and it was a funny bit."
With Ryan Reynolds, I could see a legitimate like joking and keeping that thing running, because I could see him being like, "It's gonna be like hilarious, like we're gonna just hate on each other," just kind of like for a while the ads he would do with Hugh, where they would just make fun of the other person and shit. So
I don't know if Wesley Snipes has that kind of sense of humor, though.
Who knows?
The only thing.
He's gotten a little older. Maybe he figured out.
Cool. Yeah, they could have buried the hatchet years ago. You don't know. Yeah.
That's
when he says, "I thought you were retired," and then
oh my god, he's like, "What did you think I said?"
And then he was like, "There's only one Blade."
I can't believe we live in a world in 2024 where a Marvel movie says the R word. Like,
it's his first word in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Retarded? No, I didn't say that.
No,
what?
Oh, I also like the whole time this is happening, and Deadpool's like fanboying over, you know, the various heroes. Logan's just in the background drinking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've been thinking about that sequence specifically because he starts laughing like during Deadpool's trying to be like, the hero Johnny Storm, I didn't do it, like nothing happened to him.
Yeah, he's just giggling and drinking.
In the background, he goes, "Ha!" This is insane.
So we need to talk about the fact that like Wolverine's in this movie and how Hugh Jackman was. Did you guys like Hugh Jackman / the Hugh Jackmans of this movie?
So okay, me and Dan were talking about this the other night. I thought the Wolverine cameos, the montage, I should say, was a lot of fun.
So
I thought it was a lot of like fun little nods to the comic books. The Cavalrine, I love.
Cavalrine's entirely unexpected.
Cavalrine, did not expect that. We saw the rumors, which is like, you know, Henry Cavill going to appear as a Wolverine variant, and I was like, never gonna happen. Right. And then obviously it did. But I thought Hugh Jackman's the Wolverine he ended up playing the whole movie, the Logan. Was obviously Hugh Jackman can play Logan in his sleep at this point. Like the dude's been doing it for whatever 20-25 years. What like 10 movies.
Yep.
Right.
But this one I think was because he's always been gruff and angry and, you know, I don't want to be here yet. But this one was like angry the whole movie. And I think he did a good job of leaning into that. Like when he does his little rant in the minivan right before they had the big fight.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, that was fantastic.
That scene.
Like,
oh my god,
like
that is
Hugh
the
Jackman's
perfect
just
scene.
a good actor.
Oh yeah, well, you know,
You know
not
what I'm
surprising
saying?
anybody. He's
No,
he brings it. It's not just like
Yeah.
it's a stunt. This movie could have easily been a stunt. We
Him
could have only been
phoning
talking
it
about
in.
cameos. It could have just been,
yeah.
oh boy, we finally got him trying to capture how he's played Wolverine for the last 20 years and failing, or just barely scraping the surface.
Yeah,
And as long as Deadpool's there, it's okay. But their chemistry is undeniable. The fact that like he brings the energy for a different Wolverine that is still familiar and still yet not one we've gotten.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I thought it was the angry Wolverine was, I think, really good for this movie. Yeah. Like all the way up to the end. Like even the ending fight, like he wasn't like, we buried the hatchet like halfway through the movie, and now I'm just normal Logan again. You know, like
that's true. Yeah, but we get that moment with him and Cassandra where like he still has these demons. He's looking for, you know, some kind of absolution, and just overall that moment for me is one of those things where I'm like, oh, you're making a real movie. I mean, there's a lot of that in that movie.
Right. Yeah.
Where there's these moments, and they're so like, not that there's few of them, but they are fewer than the jokes and the fight scenes, which are all pretty stellar, honestly.
Yeah.
But I love that sequence because like for just a minute, like Cassandra seems to be kind of moved by Logan's pain. And for me, I was like, this is cool because she like, it's like Wolverine unlocks something of Charles in Cassandra.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool. But I thought before we get into the costume and stuff like that, speaking of that character, what do you guys think of Cassandra Nova?
Hot. Confusing.
Oh, I know, right?
I'm
No,
so
like
sorry.
Emma Corrin's like scary energy is unlocking something. I don't know what it is.
I don't know
like,
what it was.
Like no hesitation though.
Look,
What you guys think? Hot.
I as I'm watching
Finger
the
me.
movie, I literally tell my roommate, I was like, is this hot? Is this really hot for some reason? I don't know why.
It's like I'm
you
worried
like
about
you like go home and you're like, listen to your girlfriend. You're like, listen, I need you to shave your head and just belittle me for a
I
little
shove
bit.
your hand in my
Yeah,
face.
Yeah.
Everything about that, for some reason, the presence was so powerful, and I was like, "This might be a crazy person's thought." And then I tweeted it yesterday, and it got 1,000 likes. I was like, "What the hell?"
Oh yeah, people were like, no, we're all on board.
Yeah.
Huston's in the theater like, oh, Cassandra. Oh my goodness.
Hassan did the Community, the dean, where he's like, I hope this doesn't unlock something. In me.
Exactly what happened. Oh my god, they're awesome. I don't know much about Cassandra
really
Nova.
good.
I'm not a big X-Men guy.
I've read a little bit of the Grant Morrison. Was it the new X-Men?
Yeah, new X-Men.
Yeah. Okay, I've read a little bit. I think I want to say the first maybe 2 volumes. So I'm not
fair.
like,
Yeah,
you know, I
you're
don't know the
good.
whole history.
There is
but
more, but you're good.
Yeah,
like, she's megalomaniacal, she's evil. She's mostly gross in the comics.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember her ever like reading the comics. I don't remember
Being
ever
hot?
being like,
No.
"Oh, this is hot."
Yeah, no, she's not. But adding that element of like, let's say making her younger.
That definitely, yeah, because in the comics she's old. She's like
she's
almost
his
hag.
age. She's Charles'
Yeah,
age
she's like,
because they're twins. So
yeah.
But yeah,
She
she's
has like
very
a
like
hag, like
yeah, she's
quality
like a
to her.
witch.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I thought she was great. Dan, I want you to take point on this one, but like costume.
For Cassandra Nova first.
No, Wolverine.
Oh, well, I wanted to quickly comment on Cassandra Nova.
Yes. I'm sorry. Please.
I was like, I also think she's hot.
Who else thought she was hot?
Everyone raise your hand, please.
I thought she did a great job of being a villain that doesn't really have a villainous motive. Just
right.
I'm screwed up and I just want to mess with people because I can.
Yeah.
And I thought she did a fantastic job at that. And at no point was I like, oh man, she wants to get out of the void and take over. She was more of just like, well, if she gets out, she can go mess with people out there too. And she could probably find some fun in that. And I just liked that kind of villain for this type of movie instead of some maniacal plan that we're going to use them to get to the main universe. Or no, it's just.
But Cassandra didn't really seem to want to get out of the void.
No,
he didn't.
She was just like, I'm good here. Like,
I'm
I
happy
can do
here.
whatever I
Yeah.
want
Left the
here.
void.
Yeah.
She
Her
does
goal was
literally
to
use
destroy everything, bring everything
Yeah,
to the void.
She does use a god machine. Like she does use a Deus Ex to like try and destroy everything, but her motivations are still like within her character, and like
But
it's a character I was like, I want this villain in more of these movies. Like, bring it back.
Quick question, Hassan, you might know this. Is the actress a she or a they? I can't find out.
They are
online.
they.
They, okay.
Oh,
I don't want
I
to
didn't
say it
realize.
wrong. That's why. And
Yeah, fair.
I didn't know, and I couldn't find it online. So
Yeah,
okay,
me either.
so a they.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so costumes though.
Yeah. The Deadpool
Fan
upgrade.
fantastic on all of them, but the one I'm going to point out is from the Wolverine going through the sequences, the comic accurate old man Logan.
Oh my God.
I couldn't believe they went there.
It was so.
You know what would have been cool?
So
though?
perfect.
I guess this is a nitpick.
Yeah.
Baby Hulk sitting on the porch with him.
Yes.
No.
Would have been
Why no Hulk baby? We put
And
Hulk in the movie.
Deadpool could have made a little. Yeah, exactly. We had Hulk. Like even if you only
Yeah.
saw him from back, but Deadpool could have made like a little comment.
Yes. What are you gonna do with that Hulk baby?
Yeah, something like what? And then he shoots him or whatever.
Yeah, and then he blows him away.
I could just
So
see him
that'd
looking
be
at the
awesome.
That would
baby.
be my,
Is this
like,
Ed
one-
Norton or Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah,
Right.
he didn't make that joke
Who's
either.
Who's the father, Ed Norton or Mark Ruffalo? That see, boom, we got the joke. Thank you.
But yeah, that would have been my one complaint with the old man Logan was no
Yes.
Hulk baby sitting on the porch. But yeah.
Oh no, but the people I was at the theater with watching this movie, when Age of Apocalypse Wolverine comes in, we were like,
that was
no,
so cool looking.
no.
I like
and the
Uncanny
Comic
X-Men.
accurate.
Oh yeah,
Comic accurate short, which is so funny because that's the first one place he goes to, and he's like, "All right, I'll help you fight," and he just walks away. And
no.
he proceeds to go get killed by a bunch of other Wolverines.
yeah.
And then what is it? The Uncanny X-Men one when he's on the cross and he's
yeah.
like, "It's not you. We're just going a different direction." And he turns and walks.
Yeah,
it's
open
just
the portal.
really
He goes,
weird.
"Oh my God!"
Yeah,
It's like
so
the Hill of
awesome.
Skulls.
Yeah, it's so hardcore. I'm like, this is amazing. We got to have it. Thank you. I don't know
The
why you would
costuming,
do that, but yeah.
the Wolverine that Sal's got behind him, that one in the movie.
Brown
Oh
suit
my God.
Wolverine.
I could be
That's
wrong because he says,
beautiful.
"Is it?" He says, "Oh, this is classic John Byrne."
Yeah,
And then he goes, "Didn't you fight the Hulk in this one?" But I thought he fought the Hulk in yellow.
he did fight. Originally, he fought the Hulk in yellow, but
Okay.
he re-fought the Hulk in the brown when it was
That's
done by
the
Todd
cover,
McFarlane,
right? When he does like
Yeah.
and you see Hulk's.
which they do, which they
Yeah,
recreate
yeah,
in this episode or
Yeah.
movie. But like, yeah, but they didn't go all the way. I feel like, because here's the thing: that cover, that issue where brown suit Wolverine fights Hulk is by Todd McFarlane. I wonder if Rob Liefeld's like, don't mention McFarlane.
Yeah. Or maybe they would have had to pay McFarlane something.
Oh,
Yeah.
McFarlane would have found an opportunity.
Yeah,
he would've.
All right, so my other problem with costumes beyond Baby Hulk with Old
Yeah.
Man Logan, the mask, Wolverine mask.
Yes.
When he first pulls it on, I'm like, oh yeah, amazing.
Right.
The longer it was on, the
Mhm.
less I liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
It could be the eyes. I know a lot of people.
It was. I don't know if it was the eyes, but the longer it was on, the more obvious it became that it was CGI in certain scenes. Which I think with Deadpool works because it's a full thing. You can't see any of his face or anything like that. Yeah, but there was certain moments when like they were talking and Wolverine would look at him. I was like, I don't know if I like it. Yeah,
I understand.
I loved it. I thought this
Me
was like
too.
proof of concept. DC
Oh, no.
fucking run with it. White
when
eyes,
he first pulls it on, and then the bus fight or the one shot fight.
the old boy fight.
Yeah, the old boy fight. It looked great.
Yeah.
But then it was like the further we got with it
Interesting.
is when I started being like, maybe pull it off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The longer you
Yeah,
wore
I-
it, the more I realized in comics his mask gets torn off very quickly in most of
Does
his runs.
usually, yeah.
Yeah, usually he starts with the mask and then loses it as the fight goes
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
This one he's like, no, I'm gonna put it on now. But him saying killing mostly while he's wearing that mask, I was like, this looks amazing. I was
Yeah,
so
no,
hyped.
that's the mask on scene was so
Yeah.
good.
Plus,
And I just like
love
he's
that
like,
he yeah. Oh, I love that he went pupilless, so they went with the white eyes.
Mhm.
Though I did hear some complaints, and I will say that there was a little bit of uncanny valleying where like it came with the eye tracking. That's like they clearly just went like, whatever we're doing with the Deadpool mask, do it with the Wolverine mask.
yeah, it's
Like,
100%
that's
what it
fine.
was. Yeah,
And I like it, but yes, it was a little
I'm
uncanny valley.
glad, I'm glad it
but I'm
exists
glad it was-
as
I'm
like
glad
a
it
proof
happened
of
anyway.
concept. I'm glad it exists as a proof of
But
concept.
you
so
can
that we
do
can
a
try this
Wolverine
again.
mask. He
We can do
doesn't
a
have to
Wolverine
not
mask.
have
We
a
can do a Flash cowl in the future,
Yeah,
hopefully, without like no
Looking-
more Grant Gustining, please. Let's try
Ugh.
something new. Let's give it some effort now.
Well, honestly, I
Um,
think the Deadpool mask has done that for most of it.
Yes.
You know, most of the movies, like it looks good.
Yeah.
It doesn't look goofy, which
No.
was
Yeah,
always the argument in the early 2000s X-Men, which is like we can't put him in that. They'll look ridiculous.
in
Well, also the
Spider-Man, he's
actor will
got
never
the-
want his mask on.
That
the
is
whole
true.
time.
Yeah.
That too.
The Spider-Man eyes in what is it? The MCU that's like the camera shutter eyes that are kind of expressive. I think if they're so inclined in this next Spider-Man movie where we're doing kind of a reset, you could just do like actual costume eyes that move like Deadpool's, and I don't think anybody would complain. I think that there's a way to do that and it would be beautiful. That's what I was thinking when I saw Wolverine. I was like, that would be. I used to think that the practical explanation of like, oh, the camera shutter lens eye, that's great. This would kind of be cooler than that, just a little.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, because the Deadpool thing is always like you can still see his expressions because of the way they do the CGI on the mask. So
with Spider-Man, they do it a little bit, but like they haven't leaned fully in the way they could, and the way like they should at this point.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do because, of course, it's like a lower tech suit. Like this will be a static mask.
That's what I was
gonna
thinking,
make anything. So I'm like, it's gonna be. And rumor has it, not to make this about Spider-Man at all, but rumor has it. He's going to keep the suit, like the suit we saw at the end. I'm sure they'll tweak it, but like, it's not. He's not going to go through 3 costume changes like he did in the previous.
Right.
I'm like, please, you nailed it. We're good. You'll just stay in one suit. If you have to, I'll take the black suit. But
I love the black
back
suit.
to exactly. No, getting back to Wolverine.
Look with X-Men.
I'm also glad it's not.
I was going to say X-Men costumes.
Oh yes,
the fact what you just said of like, I'm so glad they're gonna keep this suit from this thing because the X-Men movies would end every other movie with a teaser of better costumes
every time.
Which like, why the hell are they doing that? The worst version of it is what is it? It's X at the end of X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes, I was just gonna say that.
Suit,
yes,
please. And then you get the X blue flight suit.
Yeah, which is like, it jumps into the Dark Phoenix or whatever Phoenix, the shitty Phoenix saga one they did.
Yes, Dark Phoenix.
Which is somehow worse than the first Phoenix saga they did. Let's not even get into that.
They reach new
depths. They go from comic accurate. I think at the time it was like, I think it was the time travel in X-Men at the time.
Yeah.
I think. And then they did into just kind of like their jackets that have an X.
It was just like it's a team uniform.
Yeah,
it's like, why did you even show it to us? You made it.
I think that was kind of like Fox's X-Men, especially towards the end, which is like, hey guys, we don't care. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, it would be too expensive for us to make sure that the suits look right when there was a lot of stuff like Cyclops has had the like over the shoulder. It might be too expensive to make like a moving version of that suit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They suck. I mean, I'm not gonna say like the love letter at the end of this movie where they had the bloopers from all the movies.
Yeah, so
my
nice.
God.
It like got tears in my eyes. And then I had to sit down and remember,
so good.
These movies, some of them
are not
fucking suck. Some of them are horrible. And 98% of it is studio interference and Bryan Singer.
Yes.
Like,
so you know, Hassan, you're only 12, but like I saw I have seen, stay with me here. I have seen every X-Men, pretty much every comic book movie in theaters.
Yeah, that's fair.
Spider-Man on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
old man Andy.
I saw
Old Andy.
Listen here, whippersnapper. I saw all the X-Men movies in the theaters and stuff. And you know, there are movies that are not great. Let's be honest. Daredevil was not good. But I saw it in the theaters and I came out of the theaters going, man, that was cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, I think I was 14 at the time, maybe. I don't remember when that movie came out, but I came out going, you know what? That was cool. Did you see him flip and do the things? And I didn't see Elektra in the theaters because I'm not crazy, but
exactly. I'm not going to see them all.
I'm not going to see them all, but like Thomas Jane Punisher, which I was really sad we didn't have him because they kept mentioning Punisher.
They kept mentioning him, and I'm like,
kept mentioning him.
You know, Dolph Lundgren would have been happy to play Punisher.
Oh, that would have been fun. That would have been fun if they did Dolph Lundgren.
If you got Vinny Jones back, get Dolph. That's
what I'm saying.
Grab.
But put the Russian in there.
Like, watching the blooper reel, or not bloopers, but watching like the behind the scenes stuff.
It
was awesome.
I look back on it fondly because I'd seen all of those movies in the theaters, you know, and
which, by the way, Andy, I just want you to know,
yes, sir.
I did also see all the movies in theaters.
Oh, you're like 12.
You said Spider-Man 4, and I was like, yeah, that was 2004. I was like,
Spider-Man 2004. I thought it was because X-Men came out in 2000.
Maybe Spider-Man 2. Doc Ock, at least Doc Ock 4. I feel like I saw Spider-Man 1 in theaters as well.
Spider-Man 1 was 2002. Spider-Man 2 was 2000.
Okay, so I was 4, but I did see it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know too much memories of like how it went, but I enjoyed it. I knew I was like,
X-Men was 2001, so I was 15.
2000.
Yeah.
2000. So I was 14.
2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I took a date to Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god.
Actually, I also took a date to Spider-Man 2.
Nice. I took a date to Daredevil too, but that one didn't work.
No.
It came out on Valentine's Day. I was like, listen, you're going to love this.
Oh my god.
I mean, if we're gonna run down the list, I'm surprised they didn't have Nick Cage doing Ghost Rider.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Would have
That would have been
good.
great.
I did not expect Gambit. I was so sure Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider.
Because if anybody would have done it,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
it
Yeah.
would have been Nick Cage.
Well, I was also shocked, like, as far as X-Men are concerned, we're not gonna get McAvoy or Stewart, or like
no.
Ian McKellen has a month left on this earth, I think. At this
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
he's a wonderful, sweet old man, but he is
Dude,
always sick.
I do
James
like
Marsden is going to be in Sonic 3, but he won't be
He won't do-
Cyclops
yeah,
in
he
this
won't be
movie and be
Cyclops.
cool.
and be cool and be cool about it. God damn it!
It would have been
Right?
cool, him and Evans, which we haven't talked about Chris Evans. I think at the end we need to devote like a whole section talking about his return. That's
Oh my
beautiful.
God.
But
Hilarious.
yeah, why neither of the Mystiques, neither of the Charles Xaviers, neither of the Magnetos, neither of
Jeans.
the Beasts.
No
What?
Beast.
Do you think that was though to like avoid basically go for characters that are not going to steal the spotlight in any way? Because
I could
those
see that.
characters are characters that can also be plot worthy.
Hmm.
Like they can
Yeah.
actually help.
Yeah, don't forget
versus-
the Marvels. At the end of the Marvels, we saw
Kelsey
Kelsey Grammer
Grammer's
came
back.
back as a
That's
mocap
true.
beast.
Yeah.
You have
yeah.
to assume all those characters are behind those X doors, and they're
Yeah.
gonna show
Yeah.
up when
Yeah.
their worlds explode.
That's true.
I do like when he was like, "We got to get Magneto," and they're like, "He's dead." He's like, "Fuck, damn it!" And he's like,
Yeah,
"Was
it's like-
helmet?" They melted it. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
what a shame.
Azazel shows up and does nothing.
Does
Like,
nothing.
again. Again,
Yeah.
just in line with his
He
first class
teleported like
movies.
twice, and Blade stabbed him.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep, thank God. Because
Lady
that's the
Deathstrike,
funniest
who
thing.
was not Kelly Yu.
No,
Um,
no,
Yeah.
it's a shame.
I mean, Juggernaut wasn't anyone.
Vinny
I'm surprised.
Jones, I don't think.
Yeah,
Was
no,
it
it
not
wasn't
Vinny
Vinny Jones.
Jones?
It
He
looked like
hated
him.
being Juggernaut.
He
did,
looked
yeah.
so much like Vinny Jones.
He did
I was
look.
like,
He
"Oh,
did
look
look
at
like
Vinny."
him, but yeah, it wasn't him.
I think Deadpool said,
Um,
"Oh, you're this movie's Juggernaut."
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had I can't remember the actor's name now, but Sabretooth.
Oh,
not
yeah.
Leaf Schreiber, but the
The
other
other
one.
one.
No, it's weird they didn't get Tyler Mane. We didn't.
Tyler
get
Mane.
Lee
Yeah,
Schreiber.
I was gonna say he's a wrestler. And I wanted to say Kevin Nash, and I knew that wasn't
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You wouldn't have been far off, but yes, Tyler Mane.
They look
was-
similar.
Pyro came back and played a
Pyro?
central role.
Pyro
Weird-
had a
weird
role.
choice.
Like, he had things to do in this movie. He had
Yeah.
an arc.
He had a whole narrative happening. I do
I
love
do-
that his narrative boils down to Wolverine punching him in the head and be like,
He's
"No,
like trying
not
to
everyone gets a speech."
He was like trying to give his motivation. He just hits
Yeah.
him. Like,
No.
no, we don't care. It's not important.
Too good.
No,
Uh,
Daphne Keane needs more screen time. Punch.
Mhm.
She
Daphne
did.
Keane did need more screen
She
time.
killed it. I'll be
She
honest.
did.
She came back
I will
really
say,
well as
A little
X-23.
sad she wasn't wearing a Wolverine costume.
I was too. I said that to Dan
Yeah.
afterwards. I was like, if I had a complaint about X-23, it was that she did not have a
Yeah.
costume of some kind.
But she's cool and she's
Yeah.
great.
she did have the glasses.
Brought the sunglasses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had the
Very-
sunglasses. Yeah,
it was
yeah,
adorable. I was very happy to see
Fantastic.
that.
Great nod.
Well, also for me, very different viewing experience. I watched Logan for the first time ever the
Oh, yeah.
night before.
You did,
So like
yeah.
not even 12 hours apart, I was seeing Deadpool and Wolverine after that.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
his skeleton be used as
Yeah.
a cudgel.
That was
Honestly,
hilarious.
It
To
was
be honest.
hilarious. It was such a good double feature. I mean, I knew the people on Twitter were going to be up in arms, and be like, "This spits in the face of it."
So
And I
did
think the
they.
director of Logan said the same thing, that like he hates it. And I was like, "Okay, cry."
Did
Cry
the
for
director
me.
say that? I didn't even see that.
He said something about not appreciating it.
Like
Uh,
honestly, that's
maybe it
what
was the
makes it
director
better.
or the writer or something. Yeah, it's
Like
it's
that's
supposed to
Deadpool
be
is
that.
to disrespect Logan's corpse. Like
Well,
that
and-
is
Yeah.
But also,
Dead-
they handle it with reverence. Like when you look at that, they
Oh my
yes, they
God.
fuck with the grave. That we do.
Yeah.
do
I like
that.
when he's like
That's-
smashing it with the shovel.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't get that Logan. It's not that
No.
Logan. They
Right,
literally
yes.
make it a whole different Logan. They and they
Mhm.
honor this one by saying, "My Logan was kind of an important guy." Like every other person talks about how great he was. I'm sorry, if I'm this director, fantastic. Yay, I got to direct
Right.
objectively the best, most well-written X-Men movie.
Sure, yeah,
Definitively.
Yeah.
I didn't direct the most fun one because that just
No.
happened. That's this one, I think.
My wife
yeah.
doesn't really like to rewatch Logan because it makes her cry.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
It was a lot
It's
for
It's a
me.
drag.
Yeah, it is. It is not a fun movie.
Turns out
It's
I didn't get
it's
a lot of
fun
spoilers for
movie. It's a
that.
good movie,
Yeah.
but it's not a fun movie.
Yes,
know,
I
it's
think
good, though.
what I did on my channel, because I reviewed both of these together as one thing,
Okay, interesting.
and that's like the number one thing that I kept saying is that like Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine is the peak of a roller coaster ride, and Logan is like a perfect cinematic, like Oscar worthy experience. They're different. I enjoy them equally, if not like
for different
more
reasons.
in some respects for different reasons. It's like I walked out of Deadpool and Wolverine being like, that was so funny. I want to see another great movie. Like I want to laugh. I walked out of I wrapped up Logan. I was like, I need to go to sleep. I gotta cry. I'm not happy today. Charles Xavier's speech in bed.
Oh yeah. The thing with me though, you saying this about how, because I don't go on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram, but I don't really like pay attention. And
Understood.
Talking about how people are upset about it, but it's like, okay, so two things. One, Hugh Jackman's in the movie. Obviously, if he thought it was disrespectful, he wouldn't have signed on, although he probably needed the paycheck. Let's be honest.
No, Hugh's been making money, dude.
I know. You see what I'm saying? Like, if anybody
yes.
was going to be like, we got to treat this character with respect, it would be the guy who played that character. And also, they say it at the beginning of the movie. They're like, people are wondering how we're going to do this while still paying respect to Logan. And the answer is, we're not.
Yeah.
And then he's digging up the grave. So it's like, you
so
got to know what kind of movie you're coming into.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the criticism, and then a lot of people talked about the internal logic of the movie. And to be fair, it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes.
That was like, I guess if I had two real complaints, I would say it's the CGI on the mask a little bit.
Right.
And I would say the plot is a little on the thin side in terms of
it is razor thin. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, why did he go get a different Wolverine? Why wouldn't he just travel to the future trying to save his love? It's the whole thing. So it's like, but once again, know what kind of movie you're coming into. Like,
and also he spent 20 years doing that. Which is like the tagline of what he said. He goes, and it only took 20 years.
But to me, it's also the perfect type of, like, it's like a Deadpool comic.
Yeah.
Which is like Deadpool's logic doesn't make any sense. That's why Deadpool is Deadpool.
I mean, let's talk about the Marvel Cinematic, the 616 thing. Oh, God. Randomly,
how did he get there?
They don't explain it. They don't say anything. For a second, like when I first watched the movie, in my brain, I was like, oh, I guess we were flashing back to the main MCU's Deadpool for some reason. But then it's like, no, clearly that was him.
Yeah.
That's him with Happy Hogan, which is so funny because that's
hilarious.
It gives us our Foggy cameo as well. Like you get your
the driver. Well, no, I was the driver, but I graduated to head of security.
Head of security.
Also, did you guys notice on the back of his, like, there's this kid Iron Man helmet covering half a photo?
Yeah.
So
it's the photo.
It's the photo. It's the photo of him and Spider-Man, of Tony Stark and Spider-Man, of him and Tom. And then the mask is actually from Iron Man 2. He saves the kid, and people have speculated, and
Peter Parker.
They retroactively was like, that's actually Peter he saved. Okay.
I did see the mask. I didn't notice the photo. I saw the mask.
But he's covered, so it's like
it's literally covering him strategically.
But the question is, like, are they covering it because they're like, we don't want to pay Sony? Do they not want to pay Tom Holland? Or is it a subtle thing where they're like, no one remembers who that is? Why would Tony Stark know Peter Parker?
Yes. Yeah, all the above. All the above.
Right?
I think
it's a genius move.
Well, and we couldn't get Tom Holland, but I hear his brother Harry Holland was on the stunt team, which is
he was
in a Deadpool suit, which is so funny because I think one of the action supervisor, fight choreographers tweeted that out or put it up on his story, and then Ryan Reynolds said, "This is how I'm finding out that we had a Holland. I would have done so much more with him."
Seriously,
good.
But we did get a moment where Deadpool is in the car and he's doing web things. He's like, I think that I mean, like, that could have been just for fun, and I'm sure it was. It's very cute and cheeky, but maybe there's something more to it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you're Sony and you're watching this movie and you're looking at the freaking grosses, you're like, I mean, I'd greenlight a Spider-Man 4 that was just Spider-Man and Deadpool.
God, I just need Sony to do well. Because like, this got me more excited for Secret Wars than and then immediately following the other announcements got me excited as well, because my favorite directors ever are coming back from Secret Wars.
Yes.
Which I've been saying on this channel for how many years, where every time it comes up and I'm like, the only people that can direct this are the Russos. Nobody else. And now we're getting the Russos because nobody else can make that movie.
Well, and that's the other thing with the Russos is like, they haven't really done a whole lot of great stuff.
They could use it.
They've done a couple of They've done a couple of decent things, and they've produced a couple of decent things.
Sure,
but nothing to the level of their MCU stuff.
No.
Probably the best thing, or the most popular things they've produced have been like the Extraction movies with
with
Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, those have been pretty well received.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
speaking of directors, how'd you guys like Shawn Levy's direction for this? Because of course Shawn Levy made Free Guy and the Adam Project.
Things.
Yeah.
Did he
and
do
Stranger
Deadpool
Things.
2?
No.
no.
Deadpool 2 was somebody else. It was not the guy who did Deadpool 1 either.
Yeah, I was good. That's why I got confused. I think
That's why that movie's worse.
I think he did.
No,
I would say it's
2,
worse. I would say it's different.
It is very different.
Yeah,
Deadpool 2 is directed by David Leitch.
That's right. Yeah, he did like Bullet Train and stuff though. He did
Bullet Train and Atomic Blonde, which is like
Atomic
really
Blonde,
cool.
and he was one of the co-directors on John Wick 1.
Yes, he was.
Really?
And Fast and the Furious.
The last
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah.
I gotta see. I'm behind on those now.
Yeah,
I got behind during COVID on my Fast and the Furious movies.
That's the best time to catch up.
I had like
Fast and
2 or
Furious.
3 to catch up on. Yeah,
I would say overall I had no issues with the direction. I think the action was pretty well shot.
some scenes ran too long. I think there were some sequences that were like a little.
Me and Dan were talking about this.
Actually, I wanted to bring something up because my one concern or like one thing that kind of irritated me, the fights between Wolverine and Deadpool, I felt like they went on too long for having as few variation in their fight as they did. Like, I felt like it was they're fun. It's fun. They're stabbing. Okay, they're just stabbing. Okay, they're still just stabbing. Okay, it's still just stabbing. Like, I wanted more things like cuts Deadpool's arm off. He grabs it, slaps him, sticks it on, it heals backwards. Like,
that's fair.
Like more action stuff
yeah.
rather than just stab.
You know what I think it is, Dan? I think that's literally because they didn't have they probably could have come up with it, but like the suits, because all the bullet holes that Deadpool puts in Logan's suit, all those stay throughout the movie. They look really great at the end. So it's like
you would have had to do
arm,
more with the suit. Yeah,
I
literally that's why.
That is true. I totally.
But that could have been the reason.
But it's
Wolverine
still,
was
I was like,
he did lose his sleeves during that.
Yeah,
sequence.
so you could have been like, oh, he cuts off his arm. That's why he doesn't have a sleeve, because the arm grew back without a sleeve.
That makes sense. I love that car sequence because the first time I watched it, I was like, that maybe ran a little long. The second time I watched it, I was like, this is amazing. When he's just like he shuts Deadpool up with this beautiful monologue. And somebody tweeted, he goes, by the way, just so everyone remembers, that's not a real character. Hugh Jackman is just giving it back because like when he's talking, it feels so stupidly real. Like he's genuinely furious. A fucking educated wish.
Yeah.
That feels like something that somebody said to Ryan Reynolds, and then he was like, I need to make a movie around it. Like, I need to like make a scene or structure something about the plot around the joke. An educated wish. So good.
Yeah. I heard it more as like a blooper. Like I was wishing for it. I was making an educated guess, merge the two, and look, it's just like educated wish.
They were like, way he gets so
I'm gonna start using
angry when that comes up. Oh my god, it's so wonderful, man.
I would like to think that it was like it'd just been a really long day of shooting, and Hugh Jackman was just kind of done.
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, let's get him now, while he's so irritated.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that sequence, the Deadpool, the fighting all the Deadpool sequence, I didn't like, I liked it better the second time. The first time I watched it, it felt like it ran way too long. The second time I knew where things were going, and I knew that this fight holds no significance to the plot. It is for fun.
Right.
And then I enjoyed it.
That was
more.
the fight where they cut off limbs, because you saw the Deadpool limbs.
Yeah, you saw like the Peter-san, the samurai Deadpool lost his hands. He had baby hands, and he like balanced Peter.
He's trying to
that was awesome.
Peter-san, so funny.
Which I believe all of his kids are different Deadpools.
They voiced different Deadpools. Yeah. Cool. And Blake Lively, I don't think she was in the suit, but she voiced Lady Pool.
Very hot voice, by the way.
It is. I mean, it is credited to her, but I wonder if it's really her in the suit.
Yeah. I think if they had her in the suit, they would have had her take off the mask. Like, I feel like if they're going to do it, they would have at least.
They would have gone all the way with it.
Head Pool is Nathan Fillion.
Yep.
The little floating head, which is incredible.
Cowboy Pool was
Matthew McConaughey.
Thank you.
Genius.
I think that's it. I think that has to be the bigger names. I don't know if there's anybody else that trickled their way in, but there was
If there was, it was like the Daniel Craig cameo in Force Awakens, where it's like
just the voice.
I don't know who that was.
There was the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia filmed something with the TVA scenes. They cut it, and he tweeted, he goes, It would be for some reason my theater glitched. It'd be insane if I flew 6,000 miles to film something and they cut me out without letting me know. I'm gonna go see the movie again, and then they like quote tweeted it and they were riffing, but it was like he was definitely in the movie at one point.
Oh, that sucks. I love them.
I'm sure it'll come up in the bloopers, the extended cuts, the
extended cut. Or
this movie feels like it has a lot that was filmed that
I think
is gonna be like we'll get scenes of shit later.
Yeah, the fact that it's like it's just on the razor's edge of 2 hours, like over or under, is it says to me that it was 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
like, they definitely cut a lot.
There's more. Yeah.
Well, but still, so yeah.
So, I mean, overall, I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Before we go,
said I had a couple
Andy, you're wrapping up. We have to talk about the best part of the whole movie.
Oh,
the best. Chris Evans.
Cameo. Chris Evans.
Oh yeah,
dude. The return of Johnny Storm from the
I was sitting
Fantastic
there
Four.
because they've asked Chris Evans, would you ever consider playing Captain America again? And he's like, no, I'm done with it. Yeah, and realistically, Captain America had a great ending in the MCU for that character.
Yeah.
So when I heard him, because Chris Evans kind of has a distinct voice, if you know Chris Evans,
absolutely does.
Like if you don't know who it is, you probably whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, did he come back to do a jokey Captain America?
Right?
Like what?
Yeah.
And then the obvious Johnny Storm
and I
of
didn't.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Didn't see it coming. Yeah.
I didn't. I think that was the only cameo that had at least like I'd heard like a sentence about it. I was like, whatever. That it was Evans. That's all I knew. That Evans in some way, shape, or form. I actually once Thor was on screen holding Deadpool in that one little sequence before, and I was like, oh, they're gonna do another one of these with Evans, and then they had Evans on the screen. I was like, oh, that's Chris Evans being back. That's not really him being back. Okay, whatever. Comic book nerds on Twitter. And then then it's that he lands and he's got the red gauntlet or whatever, the superhero landing. And then he just starts cussing like a sailor. And immediately it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. He really channeled his not another teen movie character. Because like that's what I know Chris Evans. I'm like, I love that movie, and I think Chris Evans is hilarious and has comedy chops.
Right.
Yeah.
And
even as Johnny Storm, he was far
Johnny
more.
Storm was great.
Yeah, he was
so
accurate. He was like Johnny Storm, honestly. Yeah. I was gonna say when they were like Chris Evans is gonna be Captain America, I was like, I could see him as Johnny Storm because that kind of seems more like his guy.
Yeah. So here's my question to you guys. What's your favorite moment from the movie?
Ooh.
Like favorite sequence?
Sure.
Ooh.
Because for me, it's tough. I think that opening fight with the skeleton. I don't think any of the action sequences beat it. But the extended opening credit sequences, I didn't think it was like, oh, that was the peak and we never got better.
Sure,
It was such a like great moment in the movie where it says things about what we're doing, but also it's fun and the audience like really reacted to it. Like I heard people, like, laughing like the way that they laughed during like a Quentin Tarantino movie, like I was amazed at how that sequence pulled stuff out of the audience.
Did you watch that in IMAX 3D? Did anybody watch the movie?
I watched it in Dolby. I didn't see it in 3D.
I saw it in IMAX 3D. That sequence is crazy. It was like Spy Kids level of like things flying at you. And it was the first time in a decade that I've seen a 3D movie where I was like, that was worth it? What? Like this dead medium that I think is pointless.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3D ain't catching on like they thought it was going to.
No. I had no interest in it. I literally got it because it was the earliest showing. Sure, it was in IMAX, and then it was like, whoa, this whole sequence is so good.
No, that sequence was the perfect mix of fight and fourth wall break and sync dance. It was just so seamlessly perfect. Is too good.
I do like when the TVA first shows up and he's like, does the wait, and then he grabs the skeleton. He's like, looks like we're having a team up after all, and then he comes out swinging it.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Very good. Yeah,
I'll say because I loved all of it, but one of a highlight moment that sticks out in my head is when all of them are fighting. Well, two parts from the same scene, kind of. Nice Pool using him as a shield after learning he doesn't have regeneration, and then followed immediately by Logan lifting up Dogpool and just using Dogpool as a shield, and everyone like, oh, shoot that dog.
And he's just like glaring at the dead pools. He's not even like, you're not going to shoot the dog. And he just walks calmly across the thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That bit, too good. I love it.
It's a good sequence. Andy, favorite sequence?
I don't know. It's all so good. Like both those are really good sequences. I do really like and not even because I thought it was. I guess it's literally just a couple lines, but I like when they first show up to the void.
Yeah,
and Deadpool's trying to like, all right, Logan, we're gonna, and he's like, nope, we're fighting, and Deadpool's just like, oh, fuck, okay, all right, fine. Let's give the people what they want. And then he turns and he's like, get your cameras out, nerds. This is going to get crazy. Yeah, I just thought that was a fun kind of like, because everybody's wanted like a real Wolverine and Deadpool fight since Origins.
Yes.
Yep. Which was not a real Wolverine and Deadpool fight. You know, was a decent enough fight for what they were doing in that movie, but it wasn't Logan and Deadpool. So I think not necessarily my favorite movie moment out of the entire movie, but I really like that totally like, that quick line. Yeah.
Mine has to be Chris Evans' death in the callback cameo at the callback.
That was good. Yeah.
Hearing him say the words, I'll gargle juggernauts. It's the funniest thing ever.
I wonder if Ryan Reynolds was just like to Chris Evans, just like, just go, just say. Just say a bunch of stuff.
I wonder what order that was filmed in, because in my brain, Ryan Reynolds improv that. They wrote it down, and then they had Evans recite it.
You have to say it again.
Also possible.
He's like kind of smiling through it. It didn't feel like the most. It's very funny and well acted. But I love Deadpool's like, come on, Johnny, tell us about it.
He's like, just keep going.
Yeah. I love the the interjection. They're maybe like, you can quote me, okay?
Oh my god, that whole sequence, that's perfection, and big fan of Hugh Jackman's shirtless moment, because obviously like they were gonna do that. I think the way they did it was so funny and so incredible.
I like then they come out and he's like, would you put on a shirt? You oiled up like thirst trap or something, whatever he says. He's like,
so true. So there, folks, let us know in the comments down below what your favorite sequence or moment of this movie was, and stay tuned for more here at Absolutely, folks. We're really excited to be back, and we're excited to talk about the MCU again. There may be a huge MCU watershed moment from Comic-Con that we're going to jump into, so make sure to
I didn't
stay subscribed for that to catch that as well. So long, everybody.
See you guys.
Bye.
He's like, I didn't see that.
I didn't see anything.
What?